everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited because I'm going to be sharing with you my drugstore makeup routine for rosacea prone skin. Now, it's really hard to find makeup for rosacea skin, especially products that are affordable. When you go to the grocery store, there is a ton of options to choose from, but a majority of them will irritate your skin, will cause you to break out, and they won't even do a good job of covering the rosacea redness or acne spots and last all day long. So that's a pretty hefty bill to fit when you're looking for makeup, especially if you're on a budget. But lucky for you, I have been trying out several different options over the last several years, and I've got some favorites that I want to share with you today. So let's get into it. All right, so I've washed and primed my face, and this is what it looks like. And when I say prime, I mean I've applied sunscreen. I very rarely use primer unless I'm going out for a special occasion or I'm going to be out for a really long time and need something to ensure that my makeup stays in place. But for my everyday makeup, and especially for this makeup look, I don't use primer, I use sunscreen. I also want to add that it's really important to make sure that your moisturizer has completely absorbed into your skin before you use any sort of foundation or makeup products at all in general, because if you apply it too soon, the moisturizer can end up breaking down the foundation so that it'll either streak or crease, or it just won't perform the way it is intended to. This is especially relevant to ladies with rosacea prone skin because, as you know, we gals, we use our cream-based moisturizers. We tend to get really dry, irritated, patchy skin spots. And so using a cream moisturizer really helps smooth that out and ensure that our makeup goes on well. But I would wait at least 2, preferably even 5 minutes to make sure that your moisturizer has completely absorbed into your skin before putting on any sort of foundation. A good rule of thumb that I follow is if when I'm touching my skin, it's not tacky or sticky, then I know, okay, my skin's ready for the foundation. And the foundation that I'm using today is the Maybelline Superstay Microflex Formula No Transfer 24-Hour Wear. As you can tell, I have been using this for a while now. I love it. I'm obsessed. My mom is the one who put me onto it. And my shade is in Sand Beige. I liken this foundation to the Estee Lauder Double Wear because it really does last all day long. And that's pretty impressive because my skin, even though I have those dry, irritated patches, I do tend to get oily T-zone. And so my makeup, I almost always have to do touch-ups on my nose or my forehead or my chin throughout the day, especially if it's been a long day. But with this makeup, I haven't had to do that, which is amazing. Like, I very rarely, unless it's like something like Estee Lauder Double Wear or It Cosmetics, I very rarely find a drugstore brand that will actually stay put all day long, but this one does, which is why I'm showing it to you today. And so I just dot the foundation all across my face, and then I use my beauty blender. This isn't the actual beauty blender, this is an EcoTools makeup blender, but I really like it because it's got this short flat edge and then it's got a long flat edge. I use this side to blend in, you know, under eye concealer, and then I use the long part, I use this side for buffing in my foundation. Alright, so I'm gonna let that soak in for a little bit. I do have to do kind of like a double coat with this foundation, but once I get all the full coverage that I need, it really does stay in place, so I don't mind taking that extra step. Another thing I like about this foundation is that I'm gonna be 32 in a few months, and so I get lots of these fine lines and like forehead wrinkles, and this makeup doesn't settle into those creases. I feel like throughout the day it doesn't draw attention to those fine lines and wrinkles, which is always amazing. And so I'm just gonna go in on the spots where I have blemishes and a lot of extra redness to hide. I also have scarring right here. So I like to put a little extra coverage in those spots to kind of conceal that. And then I'm also breaking out on my neck a little bit, so I'm gonna go down the sides of my neck as well. That's the coverage. I'm pretty happy with that. And so next I'm going to go in and do some under eye concealing because I have a 4-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. They keep me pretty active and busy. I have long nights and early mornings, so this is my secret weapon. I use it even when I'm using my fancy makeup or my more expensive makeup products because it just works that great. You've probably seen other beauty bloggers or YouTubers reference this, but that's because it really is a gem. And it's so affordable too. But it's the Instant Age Rewind. It's the Eraser Dark Circles. And what I love about it is that it's a treatment concealer, so it has goji berry and haloxyl in it to kind of help smooth out those fine lines and wrinkles. It's also intended for aging skin, so I'm by no means mature skin yet, but this is helping me with the effects that I'm noticing after having entered into my 30s, and I've had a couple of kids by now, so it not only helps conceal, but it also helps treat, which I really love. And so another trick and tip that I want to offer you guys is to only go really heavy on the insides of your eyes. If you go really heavy on the outside, especially if you have fine lines and wrinkles, it's gonna highlight that. It doesn't settle in or crease, but it does tend to make the area a bit drier, so that will end up showing those attributes of your eyes that maybe you don't want highlighted. So what I do is I just focus on the inner portions of my eye, and as you saw previously, I go over the outside with foundation before I put my concealer on, which kind of helps with the shadows there. If I'm especially tired and noticing some shadow, then I will put just a tiny bit, but not a ton. And then like I said, I'm gonna go in with the shorter end of this beauty blender, and I'm just gonna dap it in. Okay, and I'm happy with that. So now I'm gonna move on. Next, I'm gonna do some blush, and I love this Covergirl Cheekers. This is another product that I've had for ages. I love it. It's not only a really pale pink blush, but it also acts as a little bit of a highlight. There's a shimmer in there that I really like. And this is especially important for rosacea prone skin because I have some natural redness, obviously. And so I don't want to go through and highlight that, especially when I've put in work to cover that up. So I like this because it just gives a nice little flush, but it's gonna be smooth, and the paleness of the pink actually helps to cancel out any redness, especially if it's more on the purple tones of red that might be shining through, especially if I'm having a flare up and I just cannot get the full coverage that I need. This will actually kind of help me control the color where it shines through and kind of blend it all in. This is a definite must-have for any drugstore makeup. I even use it with my expensive makeup. And as you can tell, it's very subtle. There's a little bit of that highlight that I was telling you about, but it's super subtle. I just go kind of up along. I start with the apples of my cheeks and then run it all the way up to the side of my eye. Then for my eyes, I like to do just a little bit of eyeliner in the corners here to bring some definition. And I've always used the Revlon Colorstay, and this is in the shade Black Brown. And I like this one because it's got the little blender on the other tip from the pencil. So if I make a mistake, I can just kind of smooth it out. But I just go into the corners. And so, forgot my eyeshadow brush. So for my eyeshadow, this next product, it's not really technically a drugstore brand, but I got it at Costco for really cheap, so I'm gonna include it in this video, but it's the Amy Nadine color palette, and I got the one that's the Renewing Nude eyeshadow palette. I'm gonna be using the, let's see what it is, the Mineral. I'm gonna be using the Mineral and the Copper shades. So I'm gonna start with Mineral, which is this light one, and just go over the tops of my lids. And then next I'm gonna go in with the Copper shade. It's kind of like a pinkish brownish color. And I just focus on the sockets of my eyes. And I leave that really subtle because I'm not a big makeup, like eye makeup type of gal. If I'm going out somewhere special, I will do my eyes up a lot, but if I'm just out and about, casual, I keep it really simple. Next, I'm gonna curl my eyelashes. I used to do this after mascara, and I don't know why, but curl them before mascara in case you were like me and didn't realize that that's how you're supposed to do it. And for mascara, I'm using the Loreal Voluminous curved brush, and this is also in the shade Black Brown. I love this one because it has the curved brush. It really helps me with application. They have one that's the same but without the curved brush. I just prefer this one, but whatever works best for you. And that's my eye makeup. Then I just put on a little bit of chapstick because my lips kind of have like a natural like blushy redness to them already. And anytime I try to wear pink lipsticks or red lipsticks, unless they're very like muted colors, it just makes me look a little bit clownish, and it also accentuates the red cheeks, which I don't like. And that is my complete drugstore makeup look. I am gonna show you one more product because I've also noticed as I get older, I'm starting to get some like bald patches in my eyebrows. And so this next product I'm using is not drugstore brand, but I wanna go ahead and finish out my makeup look completely. If you have any recommendations for like a good eyeliner, like brow pencil, please leave me a comment down below. I would love to know so I can try a few out. I've just been kind of overwhelmed with all the choices and I don't know where to start, and the few that I have tried were just not, they were not good at all. So I'm gonna show you what I'm currently using, and so if any of you out there know of something that's like affordable and can be picked up at Walmart or your local grocery store, let me know. But what I'm using is the Urban Decay Brow Blade, and I love it because one end is the ink stain, which it's like this little, I don't know if you can see it. It's like this little felt tip. You can go in and you can just draw in whatever is missing, and it looks pretty natural. Like you can already tell like it looks a bit more fuller and thicker than the other side. And so that's what I do. That's what I do for these parts of my eyebrow. And then I take the waterproof pencil and I just follow the natural arch of my brow because the peaks have kind of started to, they've started to thin out as well. So I just follow it. And go down. And that's it. That's my full makeup look. I think the coverage is pretty good. I do have some big spots on my face. I just recently had a horrible breakout with some cystic acne that was very thick, very swollen, very deep, and very painful. They are healing right now, but it's still, as you know, it's almost next to impossible to hide those really large acne spots, but I feel like this makeup does a pretty good job of concealing. I have some honorable mentions. Also, the L'Oreal True Match in the shade Warm. That's my shade. I like this one. It doesn't stay put all day long, but the coverage is really good. The e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. I like this one because it does stay on all day, but the coverage is not as great. So I end up having to apply a lot of layers of this, and then my skin just looks a bit cakey, a bit fake, and so I don't really like that about it. But I do love that it's cruelty free and it does stay, and it's only $4, so you can't beat that. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. I would love to have you join my community. I post lots of videos like this. I'll even include a link to my playlist down below with all of my rosacea makeup and skincare videos. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!